You don't have low testosterone, you created low testosterone. Unless you have a rare genetic disease or severe testicular damage, low testosterone is your doing. And believing otherwise creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't say this to put you down. I say this to put the power back in your hands so that you can take control over your testosterone levels. I'll illustrate how you can do this with a story of how one of my clients did it. He came to me because he couldn't put on muscle at age 36, and his endocrinologist diagnosed him with low testosterone, as if low testosterone is some cold that men can catch. As a result of this, he believed that he couldn't put on muscle because he had low testosterone. This caused him to stop lifting weights, which is one of the many things he should be doing to fix low testosterone, and this causes testosterone levels to continue going down. As you can see, his belief that low testosterone is not a fixable problem actually made it worse. After helping this man improve his testosterone levels, which I'll explain how we did it later in this video, I was inspired to make this video speaking to men who believe that low testosterone is not a fixable problem. Because even though my client was working with an endocrinologist, which by the way is a doctor who specializes in hormones, he wasn't able to improve his testosterone. And even worse, his endocrinologist never even told him that his low testosterone is a fixable problem. It wasn't a genetic issue and it wasn't severe testicular damage, and which means we were able to fix it by correcting his health and his lifestyle. But his endocrinologist never gave him this information. And if it weren't for him reaching out to me, he might have gone the rest of his life believing that he's just stuck with low testosterone and there's nothing he can do about it. And I don't want people like you to end up like that. So this is what I'm making this video for. Now, as I mentioned, his endocrinologist wasn't very helpful. He just gave him really generic advice, like he should avoid alcohol and get 8 hours of sleep. And everybody knows this, but there's actually a lot more that goes into optimizing your testosterone levels that most men and honestly most endocrinologists aren't aware of. And the main factors that are most commonly overlooked are the mental factors. If you don't believe that you can improve your testosterone levels, that it's something that's within your control, then you're helpless to do anything about it. So improving your testosterone levels all starts with changing the belief that low testosterone is a diagnosis that's forced upon you and there's nothing you can do about it. You have to shift your locus of control to internal, meaning changing to the belief that you have the power to control your testosterone levels. And the way that you do that, the way that you shift your belief and your locus of control is by looking at all of the evidence that testosterone levels are controllable through your health and your lifestyle. So I'm going to start with those physical factors briefly, and then I'm going to shift back to those mental factors that are often overlooked. So first, you have to be consistently exercising. If you aren't, there's no wonder why you have low testosterone. And although there's a lot of lore on the internet about long duration cardio being bad for your testosterone levels, unless you're doing more than 7 hours per week, so that's an hour of cardio per day, it's not going to negatively affect your testosterone levels. And in fact, it's been shown that cardio actually improves testosterone levels, especially in obese people. With that said, lifting weights or high intensity training and strength training does increase testosterone acutely, so over the short term, a bit more than cardiovascular training does. But the main point is that you need to be consistently exercising. The other thing you need to be doing is consistently eating a well-rounded, high-quality diet. My client was a vegetarian, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that, especially if you make up for the nutritional deficiencies that come with being a vegetarian. But you need to eat a wide variety of foods from plant and animal sources to make sure that you're getting all of the micronutrients, so the vitamins and minerals that your body needs to produce testosterone optimally. And the main ones are zinc, magnesium, and selenium. Vitamin D is important as well, but you can supplement that because you can't really get enough of it through food. And you should also be getting sunlight exposure on your skin as much as you can. Now, the best food sources of zinc and magnesium are oysters and red meat for zinc. And for magnesium, it's in so many different plant foods that as long as you're eating fruits and vegetables consistently, you're going to get plenty of magnesium. So with him, we made sure he was willing to switch from a vegetarian diet to a well-rounded whole foods diet. So we corrected his nutritional deficiencies, and that helped his testosterone a little bit as well. So you have exercise, nutrition, and then there's sleep. And like I said, his endocrinologist told him to get 8 hours of sleep. But what people often don't focus on is sleep quality. I could go on about this a lot, so we'll keep it really simple. But you want to make sure that you're going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time to get in a rhythm. You want to make sure that you're getting natural sunlight in your eyes shortly after you wake up, because then that tells your body to release melatonin 12 hours later, which causes you to feel tired at the right time. So you need to get your circadian rhythm in alignment. And you also want to avoid bright blue lights before bed. You've probably heard that before. So you need to get your sleep quantity and quality dialed in. So those are the physical factors: exercise, diet, sleep. But now I'm going to move on to the mental factors that his endocrinologist was missing. And that was, first, his belief that low testosterone is not a fixable problem, which by now we've established that it is, and you should do away with that belief. But in addition to that, my client came to me and he told me that he struggles with anxiety a lot, and he was prescribed propranolol, which is an anxiety medication. Nothing specifically wrong with that medication, except for the fact that, like all medications, it doesn't address the root cause of his anxiety. So it can cover up the symptoms and make him feel less anxious, but the factors that are making him feel anxious are still there. So the anxiety will never go away permanently. It's been shown in scientific studies that anxiety and depression are correlated with lower testosterone. And this is probably related to the cortisol pathway, because when you're chronically anxious or depressed, your cortisol levels, and that's generally known as the stress hormone, are elevated. And when cortisol is elevated, testosterone is lower. They reciprocally inhibit one another. So by being chronically anxious and also depressed, which we'll talk about next, my client was mentally inhibiting his body's ability to produce testosterone, but the drug wasn't stopping that. It was just covering the symptoms. So what I had him do, which is what I have all anxious clients do, is learn how to meditate. So that's 10 minutes a day. I highly recommend the Waking Up app by Sam Harris to teach you how to do that, and studying Stoicism. Just reading a couple Stoic quotes every day and learning how to implement the concepts into your life are absolutely life-changing for overcoming anxiety, to the point where you will no longer need medications and the root cause of anxiety is gone. If you consistently meditate and study Stoicism, which is a philosophy that's specifically designed to improve your mental resiliency, nothing in life can stress you out or make you anxious, because stress and anxiety are actually a choice, and Stoicism teaches you how to overcome that. So that was one piece of his mindset that his endocrinologist missed, but the other one was his depression, which was caused by his negative self-talk. I noticed in our sessions, he would constantly say things like, "Oh, I'm weak, I can't do this." So we had to really change his self-image and his inner monologue, his self-talk. And the way to do that is through affirmations. Affirmations, if you've never heard of them, are essentially a series of statements that you repeat out loud to yourself every single day to change the narrative that you tell yourself in your mind. So if you think that you are not worthy of wealth, if you think that you deserve to be in the lower echelons of society for whatever reason, we can get these beliefs instilled in our brains from childhood or from other ways. You might have an affirmation that says, "I feel worthy and deserving of wealth." And you say that out loud every day with conviction. One for him that we would say a lot is, "I am a confident masculine man." And the way this works is by speaking that affirmation out loud every morning. Anytime you notice your mind drifting into negative self-talk, you then replace that negative self-talk with the opposite affirmation. So if he thinks, "Oh, I'm weak and I'm self-conscious," then he might catch that thought and say to himself, "No, I am a confident masculine man." And over time, you literally change the neurons in your brain to think differently, and you can take conscious control over your inner monologue in a positive way. The brain is plastic. There's a concept called neuroplasticity. It's not literally made out of plastic, obviously, but it means that the brain can change and adapt based on the way that you think. So affirmations are a great way to do that. And this is important for your testosterone levels because, like we established, depression and anxiety are scientifically proven to reduce testosterone levels. So if you change the way that you think, which is really the root cause of depression and anxiety, is negative thinking or anxious thinking. Thoughts are the root cause of both of these conditions. If you can change the source of those, the root cause, by changing your thoughts and your inner monologue, then you can get rid of the anxiety and depression for good. So that's how I helped this client improve his testosterone levels naturally, even when his endocrinologist couldn't, and even when he believed that it was a condition that he was going to be stuck with for the rest of his life. So if you relate to my client's story, I highly recommend that you check out the top link in the description of this video. That leads you to the Testosterone Transformation Academy, which is a one-on-one men's health coaching program that I've put together to help men optimize their testosterone levels naturally. And it's the same program that my client successfully graduated from. If you check that link out, you'll see how this program can help you if you think you have low testosterone, and especially if you think that there's nothing you can do about it. That's all I have for this video. I'll see you in the next one.